I think moving abroad doesn't have to be painful.
Moving abroad taught me to be quite open-minded and open to diversity.
When you go and live in other countries, you start to appreciate your own country as well.
But the biggest is perhaps to find someone that guides you through the process of finding new people in different places.
I came back a lot braver.
It has taught me to never take anything for granted, but everything can be worked out and you'll get there eventually.
Well, my name is Santiago Diago. I'm Colombian and I've been living in London for 4 years now. I'm from Colombia. I was born in Bogota, but I traveled a lot and I moved a lot as a child because of my dad's job. So I lived in Mexico, in the US, in Brazil. I also studied at an international school, a Swiss school, so I lived for a while in Germany doing an exchange. Yeah, I've been all around, but originally I'm from Colombia. Yeah. I speak several languages. I speak Spanish, of course. I speak German as I studied in a Swiss school. I speak Portuguese because I lived in Brazil. And I also can speak French because my wife is French and I had to learn it. And of course English. And I can read both Latin and ancient Greek, well, because of my studies. Well, I moved to London because of my studies. I did an MA at UCL and also because it was an amazing spot to be with my wife, who is French and had the possibility of also finding a good job in the tech industry in London. And yeah, we just thought London was an ideal city because of its international environment. Well, I think it's very difficult to choose. I am absolutely in love with London. I love every part of it, and I think its diversity is exceptional. Not only in terms of who lives in London, it's a city full of expats, international people, but also the difference that you can find between the different parts of London. Going to a different neighborhood is sometimes like going on a little holiday. But of course, its cultural offer is amazing, from museums, operas, theater, galleries. It has everything that you really would like to have, and yeah, it's an amazing city to live as an expat. I think it's one of the best in the world. Well, I think there are many challenges when you move abroad. The biggest is perhaps to find someone that guides you through the process of finding new people in different places and also getting used to the different formalities, bureaucracies that each new place entails. So I think it's very important to find a proper companion in this process. And I have seen that depending on who is guiding you in the moving process, it can be very different. It can range from a very bad experience to a very good one, depending, of course, of who is giving you a hand in all this, the circumstances. Well, I think the biggest challenge, to be honest, was finding a place, and because for starters, you are not very sure where to look. There are so many neighborhoods in London, there are so many different options, and you really need a guide to find the proper niche, if you want, in which you are more comfortable. And it was not easy. You go through a very high amount of visits with real estate agents that show you properties that are, of course, not up to standards, and you have really perhaps to find someone that is able to guide you through the process of finding a place where you want to settle in London and where you can find a nice place to live. And also, of course, after that, there was also the challenge of finding a community of people with which to interact. I've learned that it is fundamental to try to understand the best you can the culture to which you are moving. It is also fundamental to try to find a group of friends, a group of support, and thus being able to form a new network in a different place, because living is all about, I think, finding the proper contacts and finding the proper environment to develop as a person. And so I think the most fundamental aspect would be the human aspect when you're moving abroad. I work in a small company that I own, giving cultural talks and teaching people that are not on a university about different cultural topics, ranging from antiquity to modern literature. I studied literature and classics, so I am fluent in both topics. I knew from Settl'in because I know Pauline, the founder of the company, and I found an amazing idea to find a platform that is adequate for the modern days demands of people, that is online based, but that can provide that human touch that people need when moving around. So I am working with Pauline in giving Spanish classes and also perhaps some cultural talks to let the people know a little bit more about London and what it has to offer, which is of course very much.